I was diagnosed right on the cusp of the change in HIV treatment, right? So when I was diagnosed, I was told to basically prepare to die. And so of course everything fell apart for a while, for a long while. But there was a moment where things started to shift for me. I had grown up with this sense of a belief in the divine, and there was something about being a kid, particularly a gender nonconforming kid, growing up with a lot of chaos and a lot of violence and a lot of addiction. There was some solace at night in this conversation with God. Compassion and kindness are central to my practice. I believe that kindness has a backbone and that we are as strong as we are willing to have our hearts at risk. I think kindness and care can unsettle far faster than aggression can, right? Because if I can keep people unsettled, but in relationship, they're far more movable. One of the things that a modern age, particularly a social media age, allows us is rapid exchange of ideas. If you're a marginalized person in a very tiny population and want to connect with other people, social media has been a godsend. The ability to be in relationship with people across movements who have some of the same identities but different, and to do work that's truly relational is unprecedented. We're at that tipping place where I think we could actually change some things, that are in really healing ways. We're never going to truly be a country that lives its values until well-being is something that is a human right and not a transactional occurrence. HIV, the way the epidemic has played out, is a prime example of who gets to be well and the cost of wellness. From a capitalist system, I do not contribute enough to make keeping me alive worthwhile, if that's how we monetize well-being. Housing, stress, employment, all of those things bear down on what HIV is going to look like in someone's body and in someone's lifetime. And so if your life is set up so that you have degrees of ease and access to medication, to treatments, HIV is going to look very different for you than it's going to look for folks who might be trans women of color living in the South who have no access to care, certainly no access to humane care. That's where well-being needs to be it needs to be a human right. I'm undetectable, and it doesn't mean that the stigma's not there. I don't have to live with the daily impact of the effects of medication. I don't want to participate in that illusion that this is a piece of cake, even for folks who are newly diagnosed. A cure for me would change so much about kind of how I think about my life and about what I'm free to do. But it would also mean that those of us who have HIV already wouldn't be forgotten. I had been hearing so much about PrEP and so much about prevention that I was almost caught off guard. I was like, oh, someone's still working on a cure. That's, it was this moment of awareness of oh, someone's got my back. I had felt forgotten in many ways.